Let's have a moment. Hello, everyone. I'm Kostas Kiskidis. I'm a business editor from Insider.gr. We will start our discussion. I will address some questions to you. Feel free to discuss, add whatever you want. So we are going to speak about the Agentic AI, and as a non-tech person, I would like to start from the basics. So what do we mean when we talk about Agentic AI, and why we should keep attention to it? Let's start with Marlene, and we will go afterwards. Take the microphone.
Hello. Hi, everyone. I would like to flip the question around, because the real question isn't what Agentic AI can do, but what still can't. It can produce qualities like spirituality, real human judgment, empathy. All this still remains uniquely human skills. But for a technology point of view, Agentic AI is evolution in AI. We are going from the area of tools to the area of agent. Agentic AI isn't follow instruction, can make decisions, understand problems, and complete complex tasks, and all this without continuous human involvement. And this shift from support to truly autonomy is transferring how business work. And I think this is huge.
Okay, great. Christos?
I cannot agree more. The only thing that I want to add is that, okay, it's moving from Agentic AI, you can assume that it is a GPS that is navigate you towards a destination. So now with Agentic AI, it's moving from GPS to an autonomous car that can drive you now. So moving from just helping you and to now to be able to make actions and automate the full process. So this is an important shift for moving from tools like Gen AI applications to Agentic. Now giving the autonomy, it is the important stuff, and what it is important also is to put the governance and the guardrails in order to make that transition safe.
Thank you. Christos, Stavros?
Yes, good morning. Is it okay?
Yeah.
I think it's a bit of all of what has been said around. I'm also a business guy, but also a deep technical guy, so I try to make it simple. I would consider Agentic AI as the preliminary form of what the artificial human or the artificial entity that will come in the future. This is the preliminary version that we are looking at this time. I would rather say that it's a collection of the tools along with the capability to orchestrate operations, to delegate questions to other agents. So a difficult problem can be split up into smaller problems that other agents are more able to answer. It has intelligence inside the agent, otherwise it would be just a macro or let's say a repeatable automatic task executioner. And it has the ability to evolve not necessarily right now by him or herself, but in order to train the agent to become more sophisticated or to have a context. And the last thing that I think is more important is the real notion of the context. This is the fundamental revolution from AI. So it's not just a document. It knows that it is about a legal paper or a technical or a piece of code. Not only that, and it knows the purpose of the code.
Okay, thank you very much. So we set up the stage a little bit. I have a better understanding now about what we're talking, but I would like some real-world examples. Do you have any real-world examples right now? Because sometimes we say about Agentic AI and we are thinking about RPAs and something completely different from robotic process automation. So some real-world examples maybe? Then?
A lot of real examples. The first one about customer service. It's not just like old chat box. They really can automate and create tasks, create tickets, resolve end-to-end. And this is the big difference. They can understand, they can be better.
And evaluate.
And evaluate,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, thank you. Christos?
Other use cases that also we have explored a lot, so it is on the manufacturing, there are also on marketing, so hyper-personalization campaigning systems, those agents cannot totally automate the process. One also good example that is very practical and produce a lot of benefit for us is the order-to-cash management flow. So for having an order, this order needs to be automated, there are alteration, updates on the order, so all that kind of processes can totally automate. We saw that in practice it works, so for us it's part of the core business now, the agenda.
Stavros?
I can talk for an hour, it's not that big, that's my job. I would give, for the ERP, which is the heart of the core system of an every enterprise, there are a lot of examples or a lot of use cases that we are currently looking into to make some real value AI solutions for our customers. I would name a couple of those, but before that I would like to say that I think it was somehow covered by the previous panel. There is also the opportunity for the SMEs or for the companies or for the entities, the organizations that didn't have the means to invest in heavy IT, like the big enterprises and organizations. AI can contribute or can facilitate actually the unification of this gap. So whatever I can do as a small company, it is more or less the same that Amazon can do for a logistics supply distribution center. Now, for example, I won't start with the ERP. I will start with HRM, human capital, human resource management systems. In Microsoft One, we strongly believe that in a couple of years, what we call HRM and payroll and all the related operations around the employee would be mostly driven, executed, automated, and things like that by an AI agent or a set of AI agents, including the legal context, the salaries, the compliance, all of that stuff can be easily designed to be delivered by an AI agent. So, in a couple of years or maybe less, the HRM application would be just an input box, or even worse, just a microphone, so you can express what you want and the system will do it.
Not so good news about the HR professionals, right? I don't know.
Not to be misunderstood. There will be other ways, like what happened in any kind of big industrial revolution or technology shift. The skills are valuable, so those skills will be certainly used to train the models, to train and to make things even better and to drive the change, but not to be just unemployed.
Thank you. Christos, you have that?
A good example is through Agentic, I think the software development life cycle has changed a lot. So agents that can help the development process by generating code, do test cases, manage the deployment of the application,
and the documentation.
And the documentation, of course, which is important. And so all the process of SDLC has been shifted now. It started with Gen AI, but now with Agentic AI.
We're not talking about vibe coding now, right? So, okay.
Can I say?
Yeah, of course, ma'am.
But the key point of all those we described is that Agentic AI doesn't just respond, it's act. And this is different.
Okay. Okay. Yes?
With the customer's data. That's also the combination. So, for example, in the support that you said, it's very easy to create an agent that can answer questions about how Microsoft Word, just an example, works, like a help system. Very fancy and very genius. But the power to have this kind of capabilities, along with the tools that can look into your data and provide enterprise-wide or user-wide or personalized-wide information, it is even more wow.
Okay, great. So, okay, let's say I'm the CEO of a company. Keep in mind we're talking about the SME because we're in Greece. Okay, and most of the companies are SMEs. And I really like what I hear. I want to implement Agentic AI to my organization. What's the very first step? What we should do first? And how can I go from understanding the concept to applying it to my current workflow or the business that I am in? I'll start from you.
I think the first step isn't technology. It's about strategy. Before we choose a tool or something like that, we must do the question what the business needs. So we start for smart and focused steps. So we found an area like customer service or IT support who have high value, and we continue from there to the other areas.
Thank you.
I can not agree more. It's not an IT project. It's a transformation project with Agentic. It's a business transformation. So we need to be careful in setting the right, let's say, business outcomes and do the right prioritization. So it is important to choose and automate the process that has an impact on our strategy, on the target. It's not okay that I want to implement easy workflows. You have to go for the things that make the difference. I think this is the important thing, and do the right prioritization. You cannot do everything. So you need to start and pick what is make a difference from the strategic point of view, and start implementing. And through the process, you're going to start implementing and more and more.
Stavros?
Totally right. Totally right. I read recently a paper. One of the characteristics of this AI revolution is that with respect to the enterprises, is that it's coming bottom up. So you don't know it, but most of your users, they are all already using ChatGPT, not just to see where to go on the summer holidays, but in order to carry out some of the tasks they have faster or easier or with more accuracy, because my friends are not that good as my English, I hope. So AI is being used by the users, so it's there. So for the enterprises, especially for the SMEs, is to set the priorities and the goals, and not to overpromise, not to over-expect, but to try to focus on the things that you are about to either redesign or you have a problem in those areas, and try to see whether AI can help on them. It is more easy to do the mistake to see, this is a good AI example. Let's see in my company where I can use it. Do it the other way around. Have the problem, define it, and see whether AI can be a potential virtual assistant over there. And this is a success roadmap.
I think we need to prioritize the high impact use cases and the low risk use cases. You need to start from somewhere. Start from the high impact use cases and low risk, and then you continue with the rest. I think this is a remark from my side.
Maren, do you have something to add?
No.
No, it's okay. Okay, so we have the strategy, we have the plan, we have identified what we need to do first, and then go second. But there is also the question of architecture, of infrastructure. What are the needs? What are the non-negotiables when you're going for that? Let's start with you, Christos. And
okay, from architectural point of view, I think the important, there is a saying in AI, garbage in, garbage out. The most important is to have data that are optimized for AI. So going with real-time data fabric solutions and trying to have, because the agents can interact to events. It is important to have the real-time data. It is important when we design an agentic solution to have governance and guide rails from the beginning as part of the architecture. It is important somehow to set a safe environment, control environment for an agent to operate. Otherwise it's going to be difficult and risky. And I think the most important part, it's not only for agentic, but it's for any system architecture, is try to use a composable architecture. So try to use small services or reusable services that can interlink together and pay focus on the integration, because exchange and giving the opportunity for the agents to collaborate, it's the most important, because agentic systems, we're moving away from one monolithic agent like a chatbot, and now we're talking about a group of agents that we need to work together under specific patterns, design patterns, in order to achieve the final target goal.
Stavros?
Yeah. I agree on those, yes. For any kind of solution, the architecture is one of the core fundamentals that you have to think about. That's why in most of the cases, the alliance and the software and the services that you are going to rely on are quite important in the criteria that you have to select which one of those am I going to play with. I would add one other aspect, even for the SMEs companies, not only for the enterprises, the notion of security, but not with the respect of fear. However, we, the developers and the software providers and the enterprise system providers, we carry a big burden to provide the security context that will be available for the SMEs. For example, imagine that how easy it is, and it's not a bug, how easy it is for one to know the salary of another one, or to have the complete list of the clientele of a company, spilled out by an agent whose task is to be a sales virtual assistant. Things like that are not to be afraid of, but are certainly necessary to be aware of.
If I can add something, I think also another thing that now it is must for the agentic solution is observability. So because the system can have the need to learn and adapt in an environment that is changing. So the most important is when you design solution, agentic solution, you need to think about observability, try to understand what is happening, giving the opportunity for the agent to learn by making mistakes and be, let's say, in a safe, in a guide rail, correct, sandbox environments, in order somehow to create the safe environment for the agent to have the opportunity to learn. So observability is something that it is a must now.
Okay, I will cheat a little bit, and I will address your question that we had yesterday in another panel from the audience. So we have agents who are doing their job. They're taking decisions, among others, as we said. And we have a security breach, or we have some other mistake or some other problem. Who is accountable? Is it the agent, the company, the one that programmed the agent? Who is accountable for all this? Whoever you want wants...
I can start. So I think the agent cannot be accountable. The agent is a system. So first of all, I think we need to try to avoid by setting the governance and the guide rails for these things to happen. But in case of something happen, we need to have, let's say, the possibility to manage and mitigate the risk of a failure. And you need to start doing innovation. You need to start, let's say, going through the exploration of agentic in phases. Don't going with a big bang. You need to increase the trustworthiness of the system. So in order to do it, you need to have observability, you need to understand what is happening, you need to have governance, you need to have control, you need to have the right design, so you can easily try to mitigate the risk. And starting by even having human in the loop, so if you have an agent sending emails or doing transactions or whatever, it is important to start with a human in the loop, be able to see that, okay, the process and the models are operating in the right way, and then increasing the trustworthiness of an agent, you can release more. So do it in baby steps.
Stavros?
Yes, I was afraid that we are going to answer that kind of questions. And honestly, I don't, myself or my ecosystem, I don't think we are in a position to explicitly say that I am the responsible or the developer is the responsible. I don't know, honestly, I don't know what happened with the lawsuit in San Francisco with the autonomous car, where an accident had been with a death. The human was killed by the autonomous driving car. I think it was one of the test cases of Uber, and I don't know who won the court. I don't know. Was it the company? Was it the software company? Was it the car? I don't know. So that means that it's not easy to answer yet. Hopefully at this time we are at the point that the agents are assisting the human. So most likely there will be a human, and if there is some kind of critical responsibility, would be the human to take this kind of risk and the decision, the final decision. But I don't know how the context will change. I'm not spreading, fear, but I don't know how this will change in the near future, where it would be 50-50 or the other way around. The agent will be in a total position to take final decisions.
I think that those are the questions we have to be asking about the accountability. But then we live in a world where every company wants to adopt AI. How can we ensure that our agentic AI strategy isn't just a cost of doing business, but a true differentiator to our business?
It depends how you put the agentic AI in your core business. If you do that because must do it, so we do that everything else do. Yeah, it's a cost. But if you really do the question, how help us, and do small steps and give a big value, and all this, maybe scale the company in the ways that were never can be before. So you need small steps, but with a real point. Just must have agentic AI.
You have to go beyond the hype, they say, and have.
Use it. Yes.
Christos?
I think that it is based on strategy. If agentic AI is part of the core strategy and the core business, then it needs to bring value. It needs to have growth. So revenue growth, automation, customer experience, personalization. So if you introduce agentic AI in your core business and not just automating some back office processes, then it's going to create value for you. So we need to start, we discussed it before, I think someone mentioned this, we need to evaluate what is the business goal of introducing agentic. Don't start by doing an IT project that is going to somehow to explore AI capabilities and try to automate stuff. Think of the business outcomes and try to ingest agentic in your core business, trying to, let's say, to achieve the maximum out of it.
Thank you. Stavros?
Yes, I said, first of all, we attended software, but me personally, I'm many years in the business of exploiting technology to make real-time solutions and try to bridge the gap between applied and theoretical technology. And I believe that AI is not just a hype, it's here. And there are a huge potential for every one of us and for our companies and the big enterprises to take advantage and start with small, quick wins. The first results would be, I think in the United States they call it micro improvements. It would not be depicted, the results, the good results, into the balance sheet of the year by, let's say, reducing the cost by 10% or increasing the revenue by 20%, not yet. But somehow, day-to-day operations by the users will become easier. So the user will be more productive for other things to do. The next step is what Christos said. Set up goals, quantitative, measurable. For example, increase the customer satisfaction index, the customer, or reduce the retention rate or the churn rate of customers by 5% through AI. If you set up such measurable and achievable goals that have to be delivered through AI, then this is the roadmap, especially for SMEs, to try to see real gains in the figures, in the dollars, as I say, in the euros, in the financial. And just to say something from our own department, one of the key points for 2026 is for every developer to achieve something more by 10% whatever that might be in coding, through AI, through Copilot or other means of becoming assisted. And this is one way to, in a few years, this would be the real norm, the day-to-day operation. Just an example.
Okay, great. Chris, you want to sum to...
Just to build on that one. So business needs to be an active stakeholder in that transformation.
Yes.
So we are not going to do something for IT. So business needs to be there. We're going to change priorities. We're going to change requirements. We're going to change direction. So this journey starts with the business. We transform the corporation, and there are many things that will come. The models and the technology is growing so fast. So we're moving from assistance and prediction to actions, making decisions. So we are moving very fast, and the systems are capable of doing much and much more.
And I think it is not a productivity booster. It's not this.
It's not a productivity booster.
It's not a productivity booster. It's intelligent partner. This is the difference. Who can make decision, help an organization to accelerate, and this is the difference, the big difference.
Thank you.
Although many companies now they are creating agents register as a human as a resource.
As a resource.
So they are part of the active directory. So they are colleagues.
Yeah, I would like to close with that because we have some minutes. We touched a little bit on this, but what will be the future of work with your colleague being an AI agent for human beings, for us? Whoever wants.
Okay, I can start. So I think that the next step is, okay, we are in a process of creating autonomous agents. Now we need to start creating agents that can collaborate with humans. So agents that can adapt because the environment is changing. So instead of me having just only a few colleagues, I can have few more by introducing agents in my day-to-day task as a productivity, but also as revenue growth or as transformation for my business. So important is to start exploring the capabilities and try to adapt with what it is coming next. So next year, new models, new systems are going to be available, new capabilities are going to be available. We need to set the baseline in order to be ready to take what is coming.
Anyone something to add? Yeah?
In the United States and other Western highly advanced technology countries, in big software teams, they are already for a sprint team of people of 5, which is the typical agile development team. At least 2 of those are agents, 2, not 1 yet. In Europe, like most of the other people said, we are a bit behind, but technology, as a technology providers, but as users, we, at least in Greece, most of the software houses like ours, we are striving to achieve 1. I would be very glad, not because of revenue, but because of things that we can do more by the end of 2026 if we could have 1 virtual agent in our team, in a typical development team. If we achieve that, and I think that we are going to do that, then the 2027 budget with respect to what products can we do or what features can we work, it would be severely different. Not huge dramatic changes, but we will think in another way.
And they will build up. The changes will build up, okay.
Currently we have, so at least in my organization, we are having in the SDLC process, securing the test results, the selection, the success criteria, and before releasing the development to production, we have agents participating in the SDLC process.
This is okay. I was referring to junior developer coder at the very beginning of the development cycle.
I don't know if you have any questions. Yeah.
So first question, most voted. If someone was giving you a mid-sized company with no AI department right now, what would be the one process you turn into an autonomous agent first, and why?
Can we repeat the question? Sorry.
Yeah, so if you were given a new company, if you were to manage a new company that no AI department whatsoever, which department of the existing ones would you turn into an agent first, and why?
Your first priority.
I I would say support, sales, things like that, like as a first step. Customer support.
Customer service.
Yeah,
and
this is
proven.
This is what I mean support. Okay, maybe because of the
Thank you,
software.
So it's unanimous, customer service. Okay.
All right. You were talking about productivity boosters. How do you plan to measure it? Is it easy to measure the productivity booster gained by AI? That 10% or whatever you...
It depends on the use case, on the function. For example, if you're talking about software development, we can have several KPIs that can measure it. So number of features, delivered features, number of bugs, how quickly we can recover from a bug. So those kind of, let's say, standard SDLC KPIs are the same KPIs that are going to be used. And the difference with Gen AI and the agentic solution is that we're going to see those figures going, let's say, down. So we need to have, let's say, an increase of the KPIs that we currently set as a company. So I cannot differentiate that, okay, that we need to introduce different KPIs to measure the success of an agent on a well-established processes. Is that the existing KPIs that we have, we're going to see a difference.
Maren, you have something to add about that? No, it's okay? Okay, because I saw you. Okay, great.
All right, cool. From your experience, where do most companies mess up first? Giving too much autonomy to agents or not enough trust?
Who's going to get that? Stavros?
I would say both, in both cases. But I think there is one other reason, which for me is the most frequent one, which is the over-expectation, over-promising, over-shooting. This is the most. It's good about the movies and all the science fiction, which I'm very fond of.
But in reality, you need baby steps, in reality.
We need baby steps, and we need technology to mature at that time, as we already moving towards there. This is.
I can add also another one, which is data. So don't underestimate the data aspect. So an agent or an AI solution is based on the data. If the data are not ready for AI, having metadata, having labels, having the things that an agent or a model needs to understand, it is very important. Usually, most of the companies, they are investing and innovating on agentic AI without paying attention on the data. And then, when they're going to release, then they figure it out that the data are not there. And the performance of the models are not the expected ones.
Can I add one? Sorry, can I add one thing also?
Yeah.
The cost. Just because of the data. We have a wiki, let's say, 100,000 of pages. It's not easy, and it's not cheap to train a model with 100,000 pages of wiki. Real deep knowledge. So, and it's not easy technical. So if you want to do that, in order to achieve very good results in customer support or customer service, you have to have good software engineers to split the problems. You have to have resources to fund the project, and then you have to have the managerial commitment in order to iterate and optimize the project.
And the testers, I should say.
Of course.
And also this is why most of the companies and the trends came moving from LLMs to small language models.
Yes.
To reduce the cost, having dedicated LLMs trained on specific domain, so you can achieve more.
Yeah, even the small ones, the training cost is huge though, but yeah, it is. So another one that's really upvoted, partnering with OpenAI for ChatGPT Edu in schools. So there is some skepticism here in the question saying, in such a volatile environment with corruption, scandals, financial volatility, evolving technology, vulnerable students, why is Greece, out of all the potential EU countries, leading the way? We read about the potential benefits of AI being used at schools. What are some of the negative trade-offs we should expect and watch out for?
Like I said, the kids or the students or the university students, they are already using it back at home. So I don't think it's a problem whether we have it endorsed in the school. And I think it's a good idea in general. I won't see any political flavor over there. It's a good idea to try, like in Greece, we have English as the wish for a primary language, to have the prompting, the engineering, how to talk to a model, how to ask a model, as one of the things that our kids would like to have that skill very well built. So I don't agree with the fears.
And also this is not for agentic. This is for Gen AI. So
Correct.
There is no such a risk, at least for the moment, for agentic. Gen AI is how we train also the society and the kids. They're going to transform, and they're going to start using those kind of tools, always in mind that, okay, it's a prediction. It's not something that needs to take for sure.
Yeah, the AI is already embedded into our lives, not company, for everything.
Correct.
So we have used it. Yes?
I'm with you. And last one. No, I agree, but I had to take the question. So the last one, because we're almost out of time. Cost, as we said already, is a major factor for most organizations. What are the watch outs or the challenges that need to be addressed? I guess the question also refers to maybe redundancies or stuff like that in order to fund AI. So what do you think about that?
One thing for sure is that as we speak, the cost is very expensive. However, if you compare to the prices with the number of, let's say, 100,000 tokens in an LLM 1 year before, the cost is less than half the price it was last year. So it's like the more low. I mean, in a couple of years, the cost will be very, very cheap, just because of not the LLMs, but the small language models, because of other breaking through technologies, like they say that DeepSeek and other models they have incorporated in order to reduce the GPU time and the power time. So I think the cost, as we speak, it is very important factor, but as the new technology become more and more widely used, I think the cost will not be an issue in the following years.
Will go down. Will go down, certainly.
They will definitely go down.
That's a given.
That's an action.
Yeah. But as we said before, I think the transformation is part of the strategy. So there's going to be business outcome. So no matter the cost, there's going to be the benefit of using it. So if you choose the right use cases, then there's going to be benefit. So I think it's going to be addressed anyhow. And another important aspect is think about architecture. Now that, okay, we're talking about having 2, 3, 5 agents. In a year from now, most organizations won't have 100, 1,000 agents. So you need to start using components so that you have the cost of AI somehow mitigated by the usable components of each architecture.
Okay, thank you very much. It was a very interesting conversation. I think we could continue for hours and hours, but we have to keep it short. I would like to thank you very much for your insights, and I would like to give a round of applause to our speakers, and thank you very much for listening.